DK here. Hey, we got a hole in the piece of sheetrock right here. I'm gonna show you how I fixed that. It's a little bigger than just putting a little mud on it. I mean, sometimes you can take a stud, put behind the square, then you'll have to traditionally put some tape on it or some mesh tape. But I'm gonna show you a different way to do it. So I just found an old piece of tile I had here. I'm gonna mark a square out right here and cut this square out. You have to stick with me because I'm gonna show you exactly how to do this. So I'm just gonna trace around it. And I have a square there. So what I'm gonna cut it with, I have a keyhole saw here, little sheetrock saw. So I'm gonna cut this square out right here. This is probably the hardest part of it. Right now I got a square there. I have a square. So I'm gonna measure and see how big it is. About 6 inches, about 5 7/8. So I have a little piece of sheetrock here. What I'm gonna do is turn it upside down right here. So I like to have about 2 inches of overlap here. So I'm gonna mark 2 inches. I'm gonna draw a line. So 5 7/8 is how big one part of it was. I'm gonna draw another line. I like using the little tape because my fingers can get on it pretty easy. So I'm gonna give it 2 inch overlap right here. Turn it. I'll just make a line right here. That's about 6, so we'll make another 6 right there, 2 right there. So I'm gonna take my knife and cut along my 2 inch overlap on both sides right here. I'm gonna go ahead and break that off right there. Now I'm gonna cut along these lines right here. What I'm trying to do is keep this piece. That's how big that square is right there. So I'm just cutting the back of the sheetrock right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna gently fold this over, take my fingers and press on here. Just pull this off the paper right there, like that. I'm kind of pressing up on it as I do it. Pulling that 2 inch overlap off there. So I'm gonna straighten this paper up right here on the edges. So what that leaves me is with a square with some sheetrock paper overlapping it. So I have a 6 inch mud knife here. I'm gonna put a little mud around this hole right here. I always like to butter it up right here against the edge right there. I'll set that in there, right there like that. Wipe my hands off. So I'm gonna take this knife and kind of wipe on a 45 right there. Make sure it's pressed in flush right there. Yep. know, if I'm not in a big hurry, I'll let that dry right there. And it'll pull in when it dries, and I can put another coat and another coat. Then I sand it and it's ready to paint. But I'm gonna go ahead and put one coat on it while I'm standing here. I have a 12-inch knife right here. See how it's curled that way? That's the way I want to wipe the mud. So I'm gonna go ahead and put another coat on right here. I'm gonna wipe the edges off. So what I'll do is I'll let that dry right there. Come back, sand it, put a couple more little coats on it, and it'll be ready to paint. So I call that a hot patch. That's what we call it in the trade. So little tips and tricks. I hope that helps. See you.